Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Tonight's lesson is the last of the 3 pre-skills I was explaining to you before we actually get into adding fractions. So today we're going to be converting between improper fractions and mixed numbers. So we're going to go from an improper fraction to a mixed number. Okay, and our goal is that's exactly what we're going to be doing, converting from improper fractions to mixed numbers. Okay, so what is a mixed number? A mixed number is a number that has a whole number and a fraction. So an example might be 1 and 1/2. So a whole number and a fraction. Might be 2 and 3/4, whole number, fraction. 59 and 2/3, so whole number and fraction. Okay, an improper fraction is a fraction that has a value greater than 1 because the numerator is greater than the denominator. So in a normal fraction or a proper fraction, what you'll see is something like 2/3, where the numerator is smaller. We call this proper because we always put smaller things on top of larger things. Think about if you're stacking boxes, you put smaller on top of larger. Think about if you're giving piggyback rides, you put smaller on top of larger. It's improper to put something larger on top of something smaller. And that's exactly what an improper fraction is. Is it something that's larger on, okay? Now this is greater than 1 because it means the pieces have been cut into 2, but I have 3 of the pieces. So what this really looks like is the whole was cut into 2. I have both those pieces, but I also have another piece. So you actually have more than 1 when you have an improper fraction. So another example of an improper fraction might be if you had 11/3. It's definitely improper because it's not right to put an 11 on top of a 3. I always think about piggyback rides. You would never have a 3-year-old giving an 11-year-old a piggyback ride. Okay? But that also has a value of more than 1 because it means the pieces were cut into 3. Each whole, was cut into 3, but I have 11 pieces. So you actually, if you think about what you end up having is you have, it was cut into 3 pieces. 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 And how many pieces do I have? I have 3, 6, 9, 10, and 11. I don't have this last one right there. That is an improper fraction. So it's greater than 1 and the numerator is larger than the denominator. Okay, our steps tonight are, first we're going to set up your fraction as a division problem using in and out. Then I'm going to divide, and then I'm going to bring your remainder up to the answer to become your numerator. Your denominator stays the same. And you're going to add your whole numbers. Okay, sounds a lot more complicated than it really is. Okay, now you also could just draw it like I did it, but that's going to get really old drawing it every single time. Okay, so let's try this. What does this look like? Okay, here's my first one. 7/2. Remember, I don't like when they're written like that, so I'm going to write it like that. Well, 7/2 means that it's been cut into 2 pieces, but I have 7 pieces. So if we look at that, what it really would look like would be that I have those two. I have two more, is 4, 5, 6, 7. So if I think about it, 7 over 2 means I have 3 wholes and I have 1/2 left. Okay, but the problem is I don't want to do this each time. So instead, what I'm going to do is I'm going to follow these steps. This is my in and out. So I'm going to set it up as division. My 2 goes out and my 7 goes in. I'm going to divide for step 2. 2 can go into 7 3 times. 3 times 2 is 6, and I get 1 left. I'm going to then bring my remainder up to become my new numerator. So this 1 comes up there. Then it says my denominator stays the same. Well, my denominator was 2, and it's still going to stay a 2. And add any whole numbers. I didn't have any whole numbers. This 1 means number 1, so there was no whole numbers. So I got 3.5, but I did it mathematically instead of using the pictures. Now the pictures again will be fine, you just might get tired of doing them. Okay, so let's try another one. So I'm going to, first I do not like that, so let me rewrite it this way. I'm going to set it up using in and out. I'm not going to worry about my whole number right now, I'm just going to put it to the side. So I set it up using in and out. I'm going to divide. 4 can go into 12, not 3 times, but 2 times. 2 times 4 is 8, and 11 take away 8 is 3. Then I'm going to bring my remainder up to become my numerator. My denominator is going to stay the same. And now I'm going to add my whole numbers. This is where this one gets tricky. 11/4 is equal to 2 3/4. But I already had a 4. So my answer is actually 6 3/4 because I had to add my whole number to this. So this is my actual answer. Okay, let's try some. Okay, so my first one is 5/3. I'm going to write it the way that I like it. Okay, it says I'm going to set it up using in and out. So in and out. So my 3 goes out and my 5 goes in. Then let's divide. 3 can go into 5 once. 1 times 3 is 3, and I'm left with 2. Then I'm going to bring that up to become my numerator. My denominator stays the same, so it was a 3, so it's still going to be a 3. And I'm going to add whole numbers. This one I didn't have any whole numbers. So my answer is just 1 2/3. Okay, let's try another one. 5 7/4. So I'm going to write it this way. Okay, step 1, set up using in and out. Step 2, let's divide. 4 can go into 7 once. 1 times 4 is 4, and I'm left with 3. Okay, step 3, bring my remainder up to be a numerator. Step 4, my denominator stays the same. Okay, step 5, this is the tricky part. 7/4 is equal to 1 3/4, but I already had a 5, so I have to add the 5 to that. So I actually get 6 3/4 is my answer. Okay, let's try another one. 4/2. So step 1, set up using in and out. Step 2, divide. 2 can go into 4 2 times. 2 times 2 is 4, and I have nothing left. This one's a little tricky because step 3 then says bring your remainder up. I don't have a remainder. So that just means my answer is 2. So 4/2 is equal to 2. Okay, let's try one last one. So let's write it a better way. Let's do step 1, set it up. Step 2, divide. 3 can fit into 8 2 times. 2 times 3 is 6. And okay, I subtract. Step 3, that is my numerator. Step 4, my denominator stays the same. Okay, step 5 is 8/3 is the same as 2 2/3. So those are the same, but I have to add my whole number. So 10 plus 2 2/3 is actually 12 2/3. Okay, so you're welcome to do the pictures, but if you notice, this is pretty time efficient if you get really good at it. Okay, your homework tonight is to try 4 on your own and then rate yourself. All right, see you tomorrow, ladies and gentlemen. Good night.